Hello everyone, hope you're having a peaceful day. Today a truly heartwarming tale of hospital hallways, shaking hands, and the first cry of a long-awaited child. In our last episode, quiet months slipped by as Ly Tu Tien carried her unexpected baby. With Jack's steady support and little Anna's excitement, the cluttered back room in their countryside house turned into a tiny nursery. A crib by the window, a mobile of carved birds, and a treasure box of stones and crayons Anna packed for her future brother. They took life one slow day at a time, learning to hope again. Now the due date is close. Like a soft tide you cannot push back, and the whole house seems to be listening to Tu Tien's breathing. Tonight, we walk with them through one long night when ordinary life falls away and everything narrows to a bed, a heartbeat, and the courage to keep holding on. It began on a quiet evening that looked like any other. The sky over the fields was the color of worn cotton. A breeze slipped through the lemon leaves outside the kitchen window, carrying the scent of damp earth. Inside, the little house sounded peaceful. The kettle rattling on the stove, the clock's patient tick, and Anna in the front room scolding her stuffed rabbit for being late to another baby meeting. At the counter, Tu Tien rinsed rice in a metal bowl, the cool water running silk smooth over her fingers. Her rounded belly brushed the edge of the counter each time she leaned forward. That was when the first real pain came. It wrapped around her lower back and belly like a belt pulled one notch too tight. The bowl slipped. A little water splashed. She froze, listening inward. Perhaps it was just another practice contraction. For weeks, those had come and gone like distant thunder. But this one climbed, held, and held, before it finally let go. When it released, her knees felt briefly hollow. She gripped the counter, breathing the way the nurse had taught. In the front room, Anna announced grandly, "When the baby comes, everyone must share the cookies, even Bunny." "Jack?" Tu Tien called. He stood near the door, phone at his ear, still carrying that CEO steadiness even barefoot in an old shirt. "Yes, we can adjust the schedule," he was saying into the line, "but people need room to breathe." Then he heard something in her voice that did not match any business problem. "One moment," he told the phone. "We'll speak tomorrow." He slipped it into his pocket and crossed the room. She was in the doorway, one hand pressed to the small of her back, the other over her belly. "I think," she said softly, "he's knocking on the door." Another contraction answered for her, stronger, bending her forward. She grabbed his arm with surprising force. He braced his feet, wrapped an arm around her shoulders. "I'm here," he murmured. "Breathe with me. In and out. There you go." When it eased, she sagged against him, sweat starting along her hairline. "The doctor said not to wait too long," she whispered. "Second babies can be difficult." "Then we won't wait," he said. "We follow her advice. We get you to the hospital." He raised his voice gently. "Anna." She popped into view, clutching Bunny. "Is it time?" she asked, half thrill, half fear. "I think so, little bird," Jack replied. "Remember our plan?" She straightened proudly. "Baby bag by the door, my backpack ready. Mrs. Lan will stay with me. I already told Bunny not to panic." Within minutes, their slow house turned purposeful. The baby bag waited with folded clothes and the tiny cap, and at the last second, Tu Tien slipped Anna's drawing of their four-person family inside. Mrs. Lan hurried up the path, scarf flying, took one look at Tu Tien's face and nodded briskly. "No more waiting," she said. "Off with you. I'll keep this one from organizing a revolution." Anna flung her arms around Tu Tien's waist as far as she could reach. "Don't forget to breathe," she whispered, "and bring my brother back, even if he yells a lot. I'll do my best." Tu Tien said. Then they were bumping down the narrow road in Mr. Hui's blue truck, which usually carried sacks of rice, now carrying something far more fragile. The field slid past, dark and still. The headlights carved tunnels through the night, catching a stray dog in the glint of water in a ditch. Between contractions, the world looked almost too calm. Crickets hummed. Inside the truck, there was only the engine's rumble and the sound of Tu Tien's breathing. "How are you?" Jack asked quietly. "I'm trying not to remember other kinds of pain," she said. "But my body remembers everything. It gets confused." "You aren't back there anymore," he told her. "You're here, with me, with our son. Every pain brings him closer. That's all it means tonight." "Our son," she repeated. The words felt like a small lantern in her mouth. The hospital sat on a low hill, windows throwing squares of yellow into the dark. A nurse met them with a wheelchair. "How far apart?" she asked briskly. 3 or 4 minutes, Jack answered. He had been counting without realizing. "All right then," she said. "He's in a hurry. Let's move." The corridors were bright after the night outside. Posters about safe deliveries lined the walls. Somewhere, a baby cried in another room. The sound made something in Jack's chest ache. In the delivery room, the sheets were crisp, the air cool. A monitor beeped softly as the nurse wrapped a band around Tu Tien's belly. A fast, galloping rhythm filled the room. "There," the nurse smiled. "Your boy? Complaining already?" The doctor arrived, calm and focused. She examined the readings, checked Tu Tien gently. "You've done well," she said. "It may be a long night. Rest between contractions if you can. We're here." Time became a series of waves. Each contraction rose, peaked, and broke. Between them, the world narrowed to the rustle of sheets, Jack's low counting, the cool cloth on her forehead. Midnight slipped in, then 1 o'clock, then 2. "Talk to me," she whispered once in a lull. "About anything. Just don't let the silence get too big." "Do you remember when you thought the lemon tree would never grow?" he asked. "Now we can hardly reach the fruit." She made a sound that might have been a laugh. "Babies are like that too," he added. "Small beginnings, strong roots." Another contraction came. Words vanished. Toward dawn, something changed. On the monitor, the baby's heartbeat, once steady, began to dip with each contraction, then climb again, then dip a little more. The nurse's brow furrowed. She called the doctor, who studied the pattern in silence. "Your son is getting tired," she said at last, "and so are you. This labor is difficult. We may need to help him out more quickly." "What does that mean?" Jack asked. "It may mean a small surgery or assisted delivery," she replied. "I don't want to frighten you, but I won't lie. This is not a time to delay. I need your permission to act if I see danger for either of you." Fear rushed through him like cold water. "What would you do if this were your family?" he asked. "I would sign," she said, "and I would pray, and I would wait." He turned to Tu Tien. Her eyes were wide, shining with pain and terror. "I'm so scared," she whispered. "So am I," he said, leaning close so their foreheads touched. "But I would rather be scared together than pretending alone. Do you trust her?" Slowly she nodded. "Then we sign," he said. His hand shook as he took the pen, but his name came out clear. The nurse squeezed his shoulder. "Now you wait just outside," she said. "Our work is in there. Yours is to breathe out here." The hallway felt narrow. He sat on a hard bench, elbows on his knees, hands clasped so tightly his knuckles ached. Behind the door, he heard only muffled voices and the shuffle of feet. At last, very quietly, he prayed. "Please," he whispered. "I know I work too much. I miss things I shouldn't have missed. But you gave me this woman who trusts me, This granddaughter, this son coming late when I thought I was done. Let them live. Give me a chance to do this with open eyes. Someone sat down at the far end of the bench, an older woman in a volunteer vest, gray hair braided neatly, hands folded. First time on this bench, she asked. Yes, he admitted. It's a hard place, she said. Too much room for the mind to run in circles. When I worked in the fields, on storm days there was nothing to do but go inside and trust the trees to hang on without me. This is like that. The roots are doing their work where you can't see. I feel useless, he said. You brought her here. You signed the paper. You stayed, she replied. Sometimes the bravest thing an older heart can do is sit still while love is being fought for in a room it cannot enter. They waited together, listening to the hum of the hospital night. And then, at last, it came. A sharp, indignant wail cut through the hallway, muffled but unmistakable. A newborn protesting this bright, cold world. Jack's head dropped into his hands as a sob broke out of him, raw and grateful. The volunteer laid a hand on his shoulder, patted twice. There, she said softly, the storm breaking. Moments later, the doctor opened the door. She looked tired, but her eyes were smiling. Congratulations, she said. You have a son. He is smaller than we expected, but strong. His mother is resting. She did very well. May I see them? He managed. In a moment, she replied. First, someone would like to introduce himself. A nurse stepped forward, holding a narrow bundle of blanket. Inside, a tiny face scrunched in protest, mouth open in another outraged cry. Jack stood, suddenly unsure what to do with his hands. Support his head, the nurse murmured, guiding him. The weight settled into his arms, light, astonishing, heavier than any responsibility he had ever carried. Hello, he whispered, voice breaking. I'm Jack. I'm the one who helped bring you here, and I promise to keep learning how to love you well. The baby's fingers curled around his thumb with surprising strength. He has a good grip, the nurse smiled. Yes, Jack said softly. I think he's planning to hold on. When he stepped into the recovery room, the lights were gentler. Tu Tien lay propped on pillows, face pale, eyes luminous. When she saw him, tears spilled over at once. Is he? She began. He's loud, Jack said, smiling through his own tears. And stubborn already. I think he belongs to us. He placed the baby in her arms. As she gathered him close, his cries softened, then ceased, soothed by the steady beat of the heart he had listened to for months. There you are, she whispered. You made quite an entrance. Jack sat on the edge of the bed, one hand resting lightly over both of them. He frightened me, he admitted. Me too, she said. But so did you at first. You talked like someone who always knew what to do. I was just a woman someone had thrown away. But you stayed long enough for me to believe I could start again. He brushed a damp strand of hair from her forehead. We're both starting again, he said. That's the only reason this works. They sat there in the soft, humming quiet, counting tiny breaths and tiny fingers. As the sky outside the high window began to pale, the door creaked open. Can I come in? Anna whispered. She stood there in an oversized sweater, hair wild from sleep, clutching a folded piece of paper. Come, little bird, Jack said, holding out an arm. She climbed onto his lap, eyes widening as she saw the bundle in Tu Tien's arms. He's so small, she breathed. Yes, Tu Tien said, but he's strong, just like someone else I know. Very carefully, Anna reached out one finger to touch the baby's curled toes. Hi, she whispered. I'm Anna. I'm your big sister. I know about cookies and crayons and how to hide when grown-ups are loud. I'll teach you. The baby's hand fluttered. as if waving. "What's his name?" Anna asked suddenly. Jack and Tu Tien looked at each other. Names they had whispered in the dark floated between them. "I was thinking of something that means light," Tu Tien said softly. "After everything." "My teacher says Minh means bright," Anna offered. "It's short. He'll be able to write it fast." "Minh," Jack repeated, tasting it. He looked down at his son. "Welcome, Minh," he murmured. "May your life be brighter than the roads that brought us here." If this moment were a picture, you would see a narrow hospital bed, white sheets rumpled, Tu Tien, tired but glowing, cradling baby Minh, Jack at her side, one hand resting over theirs, and on the edge of the mattress, Anna leaning in close, eyes wide, one finger touching her brother's toes, a crayon drawing of their little house in her other hand. Behind them, through the high window, the first streak of morning slides across the sky. Later, there will be paperwork, sleepless nights, neighbors who gossip and neighbors who bring soup. Tu Tien will learn to trust her body again. There may even be a knock on the door from someone who once told her she would never stand on her own feet. But for now, in this small hospital room smelling of antiseptic and hope, peace sits quietly at the end of the bed. Sometimes, the gentlest wisdom we gain with age is simply this: we cannot keep storms from coming, but we can choose who we sit beside in the waiting room, and we can keep our hearts soft enough to welcome the light that follows. Next time, we'll ride with them back down the bumpy road to their little house, watch the lemon tree, the tiny crib, and Anna's treasure box greet baby Minh, and see what happens when word of this miracle reaches ears that never expected to hear Ly Tu Tien laugh again. And if you picture a thumbnail for this chapter, let it be that hospital moment. Tu Tien in the center, cradling Minh, Jack sitting close, his hand over both of theirs, Anna peeking in from one side with her drawing, and a pale ribbon of dawn at the window, hinting that a new day is just beginning for all of them. In this emotional episode, Tu Tien's quiet countryside evening turns into a race to the hospital when true labor begins. Jack, torn between joy and fear, steadies her through each contraction, arranging neighbors to watch little Anna and riding beside her in the bumpy truck through the dark. At the hospital, labor grows difficult. The baby's heartbeat dips, and doctors warn of danger. Jack signs the consent forms with trembling hands, then waits helplessly in the hallway, praying and talking with an elderly volunteer who understands the courage of simply staying. At last, a strong newborn cry breaks the silence. Their son, Minh, is born small but fierce. In the recovery room, Tu Tien holds him, Anna meets her brother with reverent wonder, and Jack realizes this late, unexpected boy is the bright new beginning their fragile little family never dared to dream of.